Welcome to Coding Droplets and thank you for watching this video. This is a complete course to learn .NET Blazor development. So this video is part of a series and this is part 10 of .NET Blazor Tutorial series. You can check out the playlist link that is mentioned in the video description for finding the other videos in this series. In this video, I'll walk you through Blazor WebAssembly application. So first I'll give you an overview of this video. Blazor provides an option to develop WebAssembly applications. WebAssembly application is a web application that can completely run on client side. We have already done a WebAssembly introduction video. If you have not watched it, please find the link in the description. That will give you a basic idea of how a WebAssembly application works. While creating a Blazor project, we have an option to choose two different types of project templates. First one is Blazor Server App and the second one is Blazor WebAssembly App. By choosing the second option, we can start developing a Blazor WebAssembly application. Let's see how it is. Don't miss the upcoming videos in this channel. Please subscribe the channel named Coding Droplets and don't forget to press the bell icon so that you will get notified once we upload new videos. So now I have opened Visual Studio and now let us create a new Blazor WebAssembly project. So I'm clicking on Create a New Project and here we can search for Blazor project templates. So if we search for Blazor, you can see there are two different options, Blazor WebAssembly App and Blazor Server App. So now I'm choosing Blazor WebAssembly App and creating on Next. Now here we need to provide the project name. So I'm providing it as Demo Blazor WASM. WASM means WebAssembly. Fine. Now clicking on Next. And here we need to choose the framework which we need to use. So I'm going to use .NET 6. Now here you can see a checkbox named configure for HTTPS. I'm just unchecking it as I don't need to configure for HTTPS now. Here you can see a checkbox named ASP.NET Core hosted. Let me give you a brief idea of what this option is. Let us take an example of a calculator application. Just assume we are developing a calculator application using Blazor WebAssembly. As it is a WebAssembly application, the binaries of the application will also get downloaded to the client side and the application will work completely locally. So the users can provide some numbers as input and they can perform addition, subtraction, multiplication, etc. using our application. In this scenario, we don't need any connectivity to the server. Our application can perform the operations completely locally in the client machine. For this kind of applications, we don't need to use the ASP.NET Core hosted option. Now take another example of an application which needs to write data or fetch data from the database which is in the server. In this scenario, we must call APIs in the server in order to perform the database operations because the WebAssembly application is working completely locally in the client machine and the database is located in the server. In such cases, we have to use ASP.NET Core hosted option. In this video, I'll be showing you both, means Blazor WebAssembly with ASP.NET Core hosted and Blazor WebAssembly without ASP.NET Core hosted. So first let me show you by creating a project without ASP.NET Core hosted, and after that we will be showing a project with ASP.NET Core hosted and we will be discussing how we can use APIs in a Blazor client project and how we can call an API which is in a server-side project. So now I'm creating a new project without ASP.NET Core hosted. I'm clicking on the Create button. Fine. Now the project got created and you can see the project files in the Solution Explorer. So this is a complete client-side project or we can call it as a Blazor WebAssembly project. So first let me run the application and I'll show you how a Blazor WebAssembly application will work. Fine. Now the application is loaded and you can see the home component. So now I will press F12 to open the developer options of my browser, and here inside these tabs you can see a tab named application. So I'm just clicking on it, and inside application there is a section named cache. So inside section you can inside cache section there is cache storage, and I'm just clicking on it and you can see here Blazor resources. So if I'm clicking Blazor resources, it is showing a list of files. So here you can see there are so many DLL files, PDB files, and so many files which is needed for our application. So this is how a WebAssembly application works. It will download the binaries from the server, and once all the binaries are downloaded, the application will start running completely locally. So if you're having a very huge application means if your binary files are of very huge size, it may take some time for the initial loading. So when you are browsing your application in a browser, it may take some time for the initial loading. But once all the binaries are downloaded, it will get cached. So second time onwards, the application will load faster. So hope you're clear with this point. Now let me close my developer options, and I'm just closing this browser. Fine. Now let me make some changes in our counter raiser component, and I need to show you some more details about Blazor WebAssembly. Fine. Now in the counter raiser component, I'm creating 3 new variables, private int number 1 and private int number 2, then private int result. Now in the design part, under this button, I'm adding 2 inputs, which is binder to number 1 and another input binder to number 2. And here there is a button in which I have mentioned an on-click event. Result is this private integer variable. Result equals number 1 plus number 2. So there will be a button with a text sum, and after that I have given a span for showing the result. So now let me run the application. So the application is getting opened. Fine, it has loaded. Now let me navigate to counter raiser component, and you can see here we have 2 inputs and the sum button, and here we will show the result. Now let me provide some values for number 1 and number 2, and I'm clicking on sum button, and here it is showing the result. Now here the main difference is this Blazor WebAssembly application is not sending any request to the server when we clicked the sum button. If this is a normal server application, it will send a request to the server and the server responds back. After that only we'll be able to see the sum result. But here the sum operation is completely done from the client side. So obviously you know that the performance will be much better. Why? Because the operations are getting done from the client side. Now let me close this browser, and here you can see all the raiser components. So in all raiser components, the designing part is same as Blazor server application. So we have already covered about raiser components and all those things, all the Blazor development in our previous videos. So if you have not watched it, you can find the playlist link in the video description, and you can find out how to do the development in Blazor. So the biggest advantage is the Blazor server and Blazor WebAssembly app development is pretty same. The only difference is if we need to make any server request, like if we need to read data or write data to a database which is in the server, then we have to consume APIs, or we have to implement APIs in the server side, and in the WebAssembly application we have to consume those APIs. So next, we are going to see about implementing APIs in a Blazor WebAssembly application. Please don't forget to give me a thumbs up for this video if you are enjoying it. Also, let me know your feedback in the comments section. I would like to hear from you. For API implementation in Blazor WebAssembly, let's create a new project for showing the demo. This time, I am creating Blazor WebAssembly App with ASP.NET Core hosted. So I am clicking on Create a New Project and choosing Blazor WebAssembly App. Now clicking on Next, and here I'm providing the name Blazor ASP.NET Core hosted demo. Fine. Now clicking on Next, and framework is .NET 6. I don't need configure for HTTPS, and this time we are clicking on ASP.NET Core hosted. We need ASP.NET Core hosted WebAssembly app. Now I am clicking on the create button to create the project. So now the project has been created, and you can see the project files in the Solution Explorer, but you can see multiple projects. Let me show you the projects. So you can see here there are 3 different projects. The first one is client project, and the second one is the server project, and the third one is shared project. So first, let me explain what are these 3 projects. The first project, the client project, is the WebAssembly Blazor app, or we can say that it is the same kind of application which we have seen before. It is a completely client-side running project, a Blazor WebAssembly app. And the server project is for creating the APIs. So I will show you. Here you can see there is a controllers folder, and there is a sample controller with a forecast controller. So this will get created automatically when we create the project. And here there are some sample API. So here you can see there is a get API here. So in the same way, we can create multiple controllers here in this server project, and we can consume the API from the client project. Now the shared project is for sharing classes between these 2 projects, the client and server projects. So for example, here you can see now there is a model class named weather forecast. So this particular model class has been used in both of the projects. So this particular class is shared with these 2 projects. So the entire project is shared with these 2 projects. So any classes inside this project, this shared project, can be accessed from the server and the client. Next, I will show you how the dependencies are made between the projects. So it is very important to understand the dependencies between the projects. So first, let me open the client project, and here you can see the dependencies. I am opening it, and inside that we can see projects. I am opening that, and here you can see a reference for the shared project has been added in the client. So whatever classes are there in the shared project, it will be available in the client. So the entire shared project will be available in the client project. Fine. Next, let me open the server project, and here I'm opening the dependencies, then projects. And here you can see there are 2 dependencies, project dependencies. The first one is the shared, which we have already discussed. So whatever things in the shared project, it will be available in the server project as well. Now here you can see a dependency for client project. So whatever things in the client project will be also available in the server project. So that means the server project is not just the server operations. It is having both server operations and the client-side application. So we can say that this is the main application in this solution. So for debugging the application, we need to run the server project. So then only both server side and client side will work. Also, while you are hosting a Blazor application to a web server, you have to host this server project to the web server. This project is having both client-side WebAssembly application and the server-side APIs. So next, we can implement the API in server-side project, and after that we can call that API, or we can consume that API from the client side. So let's see how we can do that. So first, in the shared project, I'm creating a new model class. So creating a new class and naming it as product. So this is the product class. Now I'm making it public and providing an attribute serializable. Now let's assume we are having a string property that is product code. Fine. Now another string property, product name. Now we have a decimal property that is product price. Okay, just for an example, we are having three different properties inside the product model class: product code, product name, and product price. Fine. Next, I'm going to the server project, and here I'm creating a service that is product service. Fine. Inside this service, I'm having three different methods: public list of product, and for using product, we need to import a Blazor ASP.NET Core hosted demo.shared, the shared project. Fine. I'm naming this method as get products. Fine. And here I'm not going to implement any database integration. So for a real application, you can implement the database functionality in this service. But now, as this is not a database related tutorial, what I'm doing here is I'm just saving this product list or the products in a variable and making this service as a singleton service. But in a real application, what you can do here is you can implement your database functions here in these methods, and you can read data from your database. Also, you can write or update, delete data to your database. So here I'm declaring a private list of products. Fine. Now public, I'm just declaring a constructor, public product service. Now products equals new list of product. Fine. Now in get products, we just need to return products. Fine. Now the second method is a void method, add product, and this method will accept product as a parameter, and we will add products, the product to the product list. Fine. Next, public void delete. So here this will accept product code as parameter, so that is a string, and we'll do one thing, products dot remove all a such that a dot product code equals the product code what we received as the parameter. Fine. These many functionalities are enough for showing the demo. So we are having get products, add product, and let me name this as delete product. Three methods in this service. Now what I'm going to do here is I'm going to program.cs of this server application, and here I'm adding the dependency. I'm adding a singleton service here, services.add singleton, and providing product service. Fine, that is enough. So now product service has been registered as a singleton service. So now I am not going in detail about dependency injection in Blazor, as we have already done a separate video for Blazor dependency injection, so you can find that video in the playlist. Now let me open controllers folder and I'm creating a new controller. So naming, okay, here I'm going to choose API controller. Fine. Now I'm naming it as product controller and clicking on add. Fine. Now you can see here the URL will be API/product. So here the controller name will come. Fine. Now here in this API, we need a method to retrieve the products. So public action result of, so the return type will be list of product. So again, for using product, we have to import the shared project file. Now the method name, I'm just providing it as get product or get products, and here let it be HTTP get method, and I'm providing the route attribute. So the route attribute, I'm providing same get products here. So now this method, oh sorry, here we have to use normal brackets. Fine. So now the method URL will be API/product/get products. So if you need to use normal kind of get, post, put, delete, you can do in that way, but normally I used to do in this way. So get products, and here now what I can do here is I can use the injector dependency. So for that I'm declaring a constructor public product control, and here it will get the dependency, injector dependency here, the product service. Fine. Now declaring a private variable for, okay, product service. Okay, for product service there is a private variable. Now I'm just assigning the value underscore product service equals product service. Fine. Now here what I can do here, here I can provide product service dot get products. I can directly return this as we are getting the result as a list of product. Now in the same way, I'm using the next method, that is an HTTP post, and the route attribute, it can be add product. Now the method public action result add product. So we need the product as a parameter, so we will get it from the body. So we can pass it as a JSON object and we can read it from the body of the request. Fine. Now here what we are going to do is product service dot add product of product. Fine. Now just we are returning a OK response. That's enough. Next we need HTTP delete. So in the route parameter I'm just providing a delete product. Fine. Now public action result, I'm providing the same name for the method delete product, and here we need to get the product code. So string product code. So we can do one thing, we can get this product code from query string. Okay, now here what we need to do here is product service dot delete product of product code. That's it. Now we can just return, okay, fine, a simple API implementation. Next, we are going to see how we can call these APIs from the client application. So first, let me close all the tabs. We don't need it anymore. Now I'm going to the client application. So in the client application, I need to show you one important thing. So I'm opening program.cs, and here you can see a line, builder.services.add-scoped. So here a scoped dependency has been injected for HTTP client, and there is a property named base address, and the value for that property has been mentioned like new URI of builder.hostenvironment.baseAddress. So builder.hostenvironment.baseAddress means it is the same URL of the same application. So as we are having the API and the client application in the same server project, and as I told you before, we are going to deploy the server project in our web server. So it is a single application, so the same URL can be used to call the API. So this is the base address of the API. Now if you need to create a separate project, means if you need to create a separate API project and you need to host it separately in the web server, you can just remove this and mention the URL of your API. For example, https://myapi.com. For example, if this is the base address, you can mention it like this. Anyway, now we are using ASP.NET Core hosted WebAssembly application, so we don't need to provide the API URL like that. We can just provide builder.hostenvironment.baseAddress, so automatically it will take the URL of the same application. So now we can implement the API call. So I'm going to the counter raiser page. I'm going to implement the API call in the counter raiser component. I'm going to display the products. Also, I'm going to add product, delete product, everything from this counter raiser component. So here, now what I'm doing here is, first I'm listing the products. So for listing the products, we need to call the getProducts API. So just before that, I need to show you, in order to implement the HTTP client scoped dependency, I have to add inject HTTP client here. So I'm injecting the HTTP client scoped dependency and just naming it as HTTP client. So here you can provide whatever name you need. Now here in the code section, I'm adding a new variable, that is product list. So it will be a list of product. So in order to use product, we have to use Blazor ASP.NET Core hosted demo.shared. So now I have imported that, so you can see it here. So now I can use the product model class here. Now the next thing what I'm going to do here is I am overriding the onInitialized method. So here you can see override async task onInitialized async. So in this method, I'm assigning the value for the product list which we have declared now. So here you can see await HTTP client. So HTTP client is the injected scoped dependency. Dot get from JSON async, and here we can mention the return type which we are going to get from the API. So after that, I have provided the API URL. So you know that it is API/product/getProducts. So if we go to our server application and opening the product controller, you can see here API/the controller name. So product is the controller name, and the method is getProducts. So after the product, it will come like /getProducts. So I have given in the same way API/product/getProducts. So once we receive the products here, next we need to show it in a table. So just before that, I am implementing the add product and delete product methods. So you can see here we have the delete product method which accepts a product code, and here we are calling http client.delete async, and here we have provided the URL for the delete product method, and this method will accept a query string. So product code equals the product code what we have received here in this parameter. And once this call is completed, for refreshing the table, I'm just calling this method again. So you can create a function for that, and you can call that function instead of calling the API or instead of implementing the API call in each function. And after that, I have given add product method. So add product, we need a product variable, so in that we are going to create, and here http client post as JSON async. So this is a post method, and here we are posting a product value, or we can say that a product object to this particular method. So this is the URL of the add product method, and here we need to create a product variable that we will create now. And after adding the product, again I'm just calling the get method to refresh or to add the newly added product to the product list. So now let's create the product variable. So here I'm going to, just under the product list, I'm creating a new variable named product. Fine. Now we can move to the design part. We need to show the products in a table, and also we need to implement two different text boxes with which we can add new products. So under this button, I'm just implementing, or I'm creating a table. So here you can see now, if product list not equals null, means the product list should not be null, and the count of products also not equals 0, so it should not be 0, then only we are displaying the table. So otherwise, if it is null or the count is equals 0, then we are showing a span with a red color, no products to display. So we will be showing this message to the user. Now here in this table, we are having 4 different columns: name, code, price, delete, and we have implemented a for each method here. So for each var product in product list. So product list is this variable. So on initialized async, we are assigning the value to the product list. So if the product list is having products, that means it is not null and the count is not 0, then it will load all the products here. So inside the for each loop, we have given to load each row. So product.product name, product.product code, then product.product price, and also we have added one more column. This is for a delete button. So once the user clicked this button, it will call the delete product method, which we have implemented here, and it will pass the product code as a parameter. So you can see here, delete product of product.product code. It will pass the product code as a parameter. Now the next thing what we need is an option to add products. So here after this table, I'm just implementing the option to add products. So here you can see now we have 3 different inputs. So each inputs are binded. So this particular input is binded to product.product name. So product is the variable, the private variable which we have created here. So this input is binded to product.product name, and the second one is binded to product.product code, and the third one to product.product price. And under that, we are having a button with a text add product. So once we click this, we have mentioned the onClick event. It will call the on add product method. So add product method is already implemented here. So we will call the API to add the product, and we will refresh the product list. This is what we have done now. Now let us run the application and see how it works. So I'm running the application, it is getting compiled. Fine, now the application is loaded. Now I'm going to the counter raiser component, and here you can see now no products to display. So we are showing this message if there are no products added. Now let me add one product. So the product name is product 01 and the code is 1001, and this is for price. So let's say the price is 100, and I'm clicking on add product, and immediately you can see the product has been added. And after adding the product, we are refreshing the list. So once the list is refreshed, it is showing in a table. Now I am adding one more product, product 02, and here 1002, and let's say the price is 110. Clicking on add product, and immediately you can see the product has been added. Now if I'm clicking on delete, for example, I'm deleting product 1. So immediately now you can see once I click the delete button, the product got deleted. And I'm deleting product 2 as well. So now that is also deleted. So here, now the whole UI part and everything is working in the client WebAssembly application, the Blazor WebAssembly application. Only the API calls. That means while we are adding the product, when a user clicks on the add product button, it will just call the API, and that API will only work in the server. So adding the product, deleting the product, and getting the products from the server. So only these three functionalities or only these three methods will work in the server. Rest all part of the application is completely working on the client side. So that's it for this video. Hope you enjoyed it. Please like, share, and comment the video. See you all in the next video. Thank you.